In today's episode, I'll be giving my review of The Mist. I don't know why I put a question mark at the end of that. After a violent storm, a dense cloud of mist envelops a small Maine town, trapping artist David Drayton and his 5-year-old son in a local grocery store with other people. They soon discover that the mist conceals deadly horrors that threaten their lives, and worse, their sanity. Quick disclaimer, if you haven't seen the movie and you plan to see it, just be aware that this episode will not be spoilers free. You know, I like this movie. I like the whole mist thing. It kind of reminded me of The Happening, where it was the wind. Kind of the same concept here, but with the mist. But in this one, I like the fact that there are actual monsters that we're seeing. I like the other thing too. It was very cool. But this one did more. They took an extra step with this one. The main character's son, he kind of felt like more of a prop to me in the movie because for the most part, these days when we see kids in movies, I'm so used to seeing them participate in the adventure or like help out in some sort of way. And in this movie, the kid kind of like sat back, mostly quiet and really not even like a focal point of the movie compared to a lot of even older movies. The Sign, Sixth Sense. This kid was not here to help the story move forward, which isn't a problem. He's the son. It's real life, right? So you have to think about it this way. If this was real life, a kid wouldn't join the fight, right? They'd be hiding in fear behind their parents, like any kid probably should. The other thing I noticed was there were a few people in this movie that they were feeling some type of way about the dad being seemingly in charge. The dad was mostly, I feel like, being reasonable a lot of the time. A lot of things went down in this store that these people were trapped in. There was a cult that was formed from a crazy lady who was religious and became even more erratically religious throughout the movie. They tried to sacrifice the kid. You have people not trying to listen to each other, trying to leave, even though they knew it probably wasn't a good idea. They have free will. Eventually, a group of them went out to go fetch some supplies that everybody needed. And instead of finding the supplies that they needed, they ended up finding the monster's like nest, its home. And there were like a few bodies in there. The neighbor was like cocooned inside of this thing. He had spiders crawling out of him. It was so gross. He was still alive too while this was happening because he was trying to say something. And then all you see are these spiders crawling out of his body, which leads me to believe these monsters coming out of the mist are literally keeping their hosts alive just to feed off of them. That's torture. For sure. That's definitely torture. Now, the end of the movie was really good and interesting. I don't want to spoil it because this is definitely one of those movies where if you spoil the ending, it's not going to hit you in the same way that it should. What I will say is I don't know what I would have done if I was in this situation. Now, if it were me, I don't know how I would be able to live or die knowing what I did. Final thoughts? I really liked this movie. I thought it was entertaining. It probably didn't sound like I did, but I actually did like the movie. The crazy lady, I think she put on a performance. You know, she gave it her all in this one. The casting wasn't that special though, but the acting was all right. The CGI wasn't, you know, what do you expect from I mean, you know what? I can't even say that. I was gonna say, what do you expect from the early 2000s? But honestly, the kind of crap content that we're getting now, I could say the same thing about now. Dang, I mean, dare I say the CGI might have been better in the past than the low quality effort that we're getting today because of streaming? If you made it to the end of this review episode, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you're not so you don't miss any future content from me. That will be it for this episode. Whether you like this episode or not, please be sure to leave a rating or a comment letting me know why you did or didn't enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear me in the next one.